So if a wizard were on Cribs on MTV, how do you think that would have been good if a wizard? Because I think pretty much, you know how they go into the bedroom and they go, "This is where the magic happens."
Yeah.
Wouldn't every single room be where he says, "This is where the magic happens"?
Either that, or he would just point at his sleeves when he says it.
Okay.
Because the magic is held in the wizard sleeve.
Okay. I like that too.
That'd be a little bit of a lame joke for a wizard if they were to be just walk into the kitchen. Oh, yeah. Well, this is where the magic happens.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be the worst episode of Cribs ever, but it'd be the only one I would ever watch.
But what if they also had a dungeon? Because they're a wizard. Of course, they've got to have their experimental like dungeons and stuff. That they've
Can you define what kind of dungeon?
Not those kind of dungeons. That's a good kind of dungeons.
They're both good kinds of dungeons.
Oh, no, that could be even better because they can go down to, now this is where the magic happens. Wink! Ba-ting!
Things can be two things. I am a dungeon master.
Master me. Hey everybody, I'm Dane Holland.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer.
I'm Marcus, I'm Electric Man.
And I'm Austin Tiny Zen.
And we are Nerd It Through the Grapevine, the podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And this is a reality podcast, right? Because we're real and it's unscripted and it's happening inside your home.
Yeah, or your car.
Yeah.
Castle Loft.
Yeah.
That's kind of your home too, I guess.
Castles again? Man, castles are going to keep coming up a whole bunch. Reality TV is something that, well, I hate it. I hate every bit of it. But this is a nerd podcast, so we're going to talk about things we hate way more than we're going to talk about things that we like.
I like some of it.
And when you think reality TV, it doesn't always have to be trash reality TV.
Exactly.
There are many, many tributaries to the great Grapevine.
Name one.
Great
It
British
took
Break
you
Off.
so long. British Break Off?
Great British Bake Off.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that one is really good. Cooking ones.
Yes.
Let's start there. Cooking shows are reality TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we know what reality TV is, what it means?
No.
Because
Yes, we
literally,
do. We just
what
don't,
does it mean?
We can't just say the dictionary version of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because like the actual term reality TV just means it's
I don't know.
real people on the television.
I
but
would say something set in an unscripted manner.
in an
or a slightly scripted
Well, it is
manner.
definitely not all
not-
unscripted.
it's presented to you like it is.
Yeah, like found
Yeah.
footage videos. Like, you know, they didn't
The
find this.
Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, they did not find this tape in the middle of the woods and then have this backstory on everything that's happening. It's not just, God, the Blair Witch did it the best on that, but I mean, they were the originators of it.
I mean, that was reality TV, but in a movie form.
Yep.
So the definition for like the actual television thing of reality TV is television programs in which real people are continuously filmed, designed to be entertaining rather than informative. So that makes things like Pawn Stars, but that blurs a line, right?
Nope.
Because
No.
it's designed, that's informative. But it's not, I guess it's not
It's-
designed specifically to
No,
do
it's
that.
not. It's not designed to teach. I mean,
Yeah.
it can teach, but they're just having fact diarrhea. You're not absorbing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, you're there to see the angry man buy things, and then the other angry man to be angry about how much they spent on the thing that they bought.
Right. And then the dumb man, like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're stepping outside of camera view, getting on some wiki, absorbing as much of that crystal burger that they can from that wiki before everything goes, and then they're going to go out there and just have just as much info diarrhea as they can, spout.
I reject that reality and substitute the fact that they know it all.
Now
They have all that in their heads all the time.
now Mark Hall Patton, aka Hatbeard,
Yes.
I don't want to believe that about him.
That he doesn't know what he's talking about?
No, I want to believe that. No, I don't want to believe that he has to wiki anything. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe that he has to actually get that information refreshed before he goes in and talks about it. I want to believe that this man actually knows what he's talking about and can step into the shop and be like, "Oh, that's a railroad spike from 1814. Oh, there's not many of those left around."
He's probably the one that writes the wiki for everything.
He might be the
editor for it.
He might be a wiki fact checker for all these different things. What if that could be? I mean, honestly, because his accreditations are just as long as the episode lists that he's been on.
That's true.
It's ridiculous.
You've been over that before in the past.
I have. I've talked about that.
Well, why don't you tell us something, Austin? Because you're the only one out of all of us that has actually tried out for a reality show.
Oh, shit.
And I've been watching old clips of American Idol. You know, you've got to watch the bad auditions. That's really the only reason you watch a show like that, or at least for me.
Yeah.
And then to watch Simon rip into them. So tell me, what was that experience like? You know, were there people, because some of them just seem so out there. They can't really be real.
Have you ever watched any of those old Western movies that have those big cattle drives where you can see like cows for just like, it looks like miles of just herded cattle, thousands and thousands? That was American Idol. American Idol's literally just like that, but singers
Singers.
No, like legitimate
Quotation
singers.
And the man's there to milk you for your talent to get views on TV.
Yeah.
That's what you're all there for.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of cows
Yeah, like
being
dairy.
herded.
Yeah, that's all
But
it is.
did you get branded too?
Well, if you would have actually made it onto the television show and signed the copyright agreement, then yes, they would have owned you.
So they would have taken that hot metal rod.
Yeah.
That hot, throbbing, cherry red metal rod.
Yeah. And stuck it right to your buttocks. And it was just Simon Cowell's face with a $sign behind it.
That's hot.
So, but yeah, it was about 10 to 15,000 people when I auditioned for American Idol, all surrounding a dome in Louisville. I forget what it's actually called. The
Louisville Dome.
Honestly, it might be.
I don't remember. I was there for this one, right? The one you're talking about, or was this a different time?
No, this was me and Jesse.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was there for the second one.
Yes, the second
Okay.
one. I've been there multiple times. I was actually invited to The Voice back whenever I was in a metal band, and we had a Reverb Nation page. One of the producers contacted me on the Reverb Nation site, and if you ask my father, it happened 4 times, and I was also trying out in the same room that Cassidy Pope was. But she was a winner of The Voice.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have no idea who that is.
But my dad, he can paint a picture of whatever reality he wants to. He belongs on a podcast, but I don't know why he's never. You get him in front of a microphone just to talk, and he'll clam up.
That's so weird.
He'll turn it off.
Because he performs in front of people all the time.
very weird.
He's on like all the time. He's in rock star mode. Like, I'm going to talk to you about back in the day. I used to tour with the Fog Hat.
It's not weird to me. I feel him. I understand that.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
You also perform. Me and Tiny are the ones that don't perform, and I think we were more comfortable in front of it to begin with. That's so weird.
I've been around them a lot.
So the reality television show of The Voice and American Idol and those kind of things, there's processing to it. They pick 1 out of every 1,000 for certain things. It's ridiculous. All these things you see I'm turning away on the TV, those were most of the time just plants, like intentionally put there for a spike because they've got somebody bad. They weren't at a lack of good singers to choose from. Mm-hmm. I've seen some of the best voices I've ever heard and will never hear them again while auditioning for these shows. Like, I like to sing. I can sing. They can do better than I can. And I'm hearing all this around me and I'm seeing these people get rejected, and honestly I clammed up because what are you supposed to do? Like, what are you going to bring? Like, that's what my brain's telling me. Like, I'm the you that my brain is speaking to. Like, what are you going to offer that voice did not just belt out better than what you can do? And it just absolutely, like, I felt out of my element, and I doubt that I'd be able to sing the stuff I'd want to sing while I'm on national television.
Yeah. And also, like, things that, because it's all about what they think ratings are going to improve with, right? I mean, you can have the best singers you've ever heard in that line, but if someone sings pretty good and they've got a touching story, some kind of backstory for themselves, which I don't even know how many of those are 100% reality of the stories behind these people.
I think most of them are pretty real.
Are they pretty? That part is
where they give them the backstory, and they're going to make it to Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah. I think most of those are fairly real because I actually knew somebody that was on, like, in the late rounds of American Idol.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the guy from Oliver Springs or whatever.
Was there much embellishment behind their
It
story
didn't seem to
at
be.
all?
I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I knew his wife in college.
I don't believe any like whenever I'm watching any reality TV, any of them that you can think of, I just have the hardest time believing most of it.
Yeah, because you can see how they edit it, and you're like, they obviously just edited in like that reaction to what they said. Like you can tell where they're cutting in and trying to make it more, crazy. And then the stupid sound effects that they do in America, they don't do so much in Europe and stuff.
They do sound effects?
Yeah, like, you're watching Hell's Kitchen and they're like,
oh.
You hear the knives go shink.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah. When they're like,
just cutting.
The scallops are raw.
I mean,
oh yeah, they got the random buzzsaw, and you got like the. But my favorite thing in those are like the ominous music on sets, because Ramsey's gonna walk into just a shit storm back there in the kitchen, and you just hear the music just goon, 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 goon.
And it makes you lean forward, like what's he about to walk into?
What in the hell is this bloody mess? Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah, like Homeboy pulls out a well done medium Wellington, but it is not well done.
You can tell from the outside.
I mean, like you sliced and you're like, oh, that's brown in the middle. It's supposed to be pretty pink.
But even most reality shows, without the sound effects and without the cuts and without the building of the music, like if all of it was just reality, what you're seeing and hearing is exactly what's happening in that moment, people are going to tune out, right? I mean, it's not enough. Reality isn't enough to make you want to
watch every week.
Stay tuned in.
I think it depends on subject matter, really.
Well, Jersey Shore.
Well, I was gonna say I was a big fan of Deadliest Catch, where they go out like crab fishing. Like it wasn't really the most musically thing, but you see the big waves coming, and you're watching these guys on this boat that's going crazy in the ocean, pulling up these crab pods, and just like it's almost like the anticipation was enough.
Well, it's also.
I think it depends on what you're watching.
It's also, that's something that this is a dangerous thing these people are doing, like ice truckers.
Ice truckers.
Yeah, that a lot of people really like, that like things like the Deadliest Catch.
That one's a little more scripted, though.
But like the activity of it is, I mean, compare that to something like the Kardashians, which I'm going to compare most of the things we talk about today to the Kardashians, just
Please
because
don't.
I
Pick a
just
different one.
don't like it. Well, it's the perfect lowest.
Pick a different
it's
one.
the lowest common denominator.
Well, I mean,
God, it's like Jersey Shore's better than the Kardashians. I'm sorry, for reality television's sake, I'm more entertained by the Jersey Shore folk.
Well,
Why?
I mean, the Jersey Shore didn't rise from one of them making a sex tape, so I'll give them that much credit.
True, they did those
the
after
only
the fact.
reason we know about Kim Kardashian is she was doing adult activities on camera, and it got leaked.
With Raymond J. From what
I
I've
don't
heard.
know, whatever it was, his Charlie was very crooked. Like homeboy could pee around a corner. It was like, I'm not saying I've seen it, just
From what you've heard.
from what I've heard.
He goes to his
From an
bathroom.
academic standpoint, he had a very crooked Charlie.
So he goes to the bathroom to pee, and he makes it in the toilet, and he says, so this is where the magic happens.
He's a wizard.
I spell that differently, but yeah.
Yeah,
true.
whiz.
Yeah, whiz.
That's
Yeah,
a really
extra
funny
Z.
one.
You think about surroundings and settings, like, I'm going to talk about Jersey Shore for a second.
Please do.
Jersey Shore was
T-shirt time.
What? T-shirt time, gym tan laundry. I mean, there's so much stuff that was ingrained into your brain just by watching that show, and it's kind of good for how bad it was. Just because you had guys like Mike, who was nicknamed The Situation, because if girls are going to be around me, and they're going to see what I'm offering, there's going to be, there's going to be a situation, and awful. Just
Can't forget Snatchy or
The
whatever her name was.
Snooki. Pretty
Snooki,
close.
Snatchy,
And
whatever.
you know what?
close.
I'm not going to say bad things about Snooki, because we got to see Snooki in a party phase. Everybody goes through that. She had a sloppy party phase, and we got to see it all on TV. It was pretty
You
great.
definitely did get to see it all.
Because now, like, she's like an inspirational speaker.
What?
Yeah,
Is she really?
Yeah, and
God.
she.
What
she-
kind of inspiration can she give?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't
She has,
know.
like,
You too can
she-
be on a shitty TV
Here's
show.
how
she-
to puke and rally.
Yeah. Here's a boot rally or SoCo.
And here's how you can look incredibly orange.
But the cringeworthiness is the factor that people like to grasp onto something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
I can't handle the cringe. I think that's the hardest part
Just
for me.
all these big, tanned, roided out dudes, and then like one of them's a DJ. Like, well, a couple of them are DJs. I
I
think
think all of them might be DJs.
maybe at some point have DJ'd. But there's all the same stuff, and then that became fashion. Like when they became some of the most watched stuff on television, that's when you've got the buckle store to have a spike in the sales of every. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. The bedazzled jeans.
Bedazzled jeans, your affliction clothing, all this kind of stuff like that. That started becoming humongous based on the way that they would dress.
What I couldn't understand about the show is why these 30-year-old people would go to the Jersey Shore and get a summer job to live like kids. Why? What's the whole point of this?
I don't know.
Can you explain that to me?
Well, I mean,
Party.
What would you do to be on television?
Why? I wouldn't do any of that.
Yeah, I don't. That's another thing. It's a certain type of person goes to be on these things, like Road Rules and what was the other one that I always forget? Real World?
Yes.
Those were both the kind of shows, like people that want to be on something like that, or Big Brother. It's someone that's willing to go into a home with strangers knowing there's going to be tension and the cameras are on you for your reaction. Or it's someone that likes to stir the shit. You would be amazing at something like this because you love getting on someone's nerves on purpose. Tiny, you are so good at finding the thing.
I was born under a
And
bridge.
pushing.
Tiny, if we were on a reality television show together, like we would be planted on there just to wreak havoc. We would do such a good job.
Oh,
can you
have no
imagine
idea.
the songs that we could set for our wake up alarms in the morning? Just like I would set "Love Fool" to like Mondays and Thursdays, just so people can love me, say that you love me.
I mean, do you want to know what my current alarm sounds like?
Oh Jesus!
I'm going to have to do this. And that wakes me up every morning.
Wake me up
I
before you
cannot
go
sleep
by
through
Wham.
that.
Wake me up. Oh, that'd be so great, and we'd be so cheerful in the mornings just to spite everybody.
No. Well, that's the thing. Like these types of personalities, like that you guys know how to push the button and go beyond that and just revel in it and just love to see somebody, lose their mind. An old co-host of ours, a former Grape, the Rooster.
Oh my God.
He's one that can, even if he completely disagrees with the things he's saying, he knows he is wrong 100%. He can keep going down that rabbit hole to the point where he can gaslight somebody to where they're too tired now. Their brain is melted into mashed potatoes and they're like, I don't know reality anymore. Now it's whatever this strange man tells me it is.
I have been impressed by his ability to commit just to piss you off.
So hard.
Not only that, because he would get to the point where he was just done arguing his point because he just knew he was so right, and he would just he eventually adopted the saying, put it to the polls. Let the people decide. Let the people decide. Put it to the polls.
Because that puts it out of his hands. He's done with it.
Yeah.
Now somebody else can decide.
Yeah, make this choice for me.
Now-
I'm right, though.
These types of personalities, at what point is it acting? Because, of course, I mean, even doing the show, we need to turn ourselves up, a little bit from our standard, turn the dial up, be more. You have to perform when you do anything that's recorded. But at what point are these people taking their personalities, which are cool with confrontation and a little over the top, when does it become acting, and where's the reality line stop?
I often wonder that as well because my wife likes to watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So it's basically just Jersey Shore except really rich and old.
And their housewives.
Yeah, and they have kids now. But, I don't know, like one of them's husbands actually went to jail. That was kind of a part of the show. They were actually getting indicted for all these like tax evasions and things like this. And so I don't know. I mean, I definitely have wondered like how much of this beef between all these people is real and like actually follows them when the cameras are off versus how much is like just for the show.
Right.
Some of it's obviously just for the show and it's edited and all this and they do their interviews, but then some of it probably is actually real.
Right. But I mean, there's still directors on set for the show, right? Or producers, or what would they be called? Producers in that situation?
Yeah.
To where if there is a lull, there may be like, okay, well, what's something they've done to you in the past, or something like that brings up this emotion, and then they can just run with that because it has to be entertaining. even to the people that don't care about these people. Because people like the Kardashians, sorry, you can ring a bell every time I say it.
I'll take a shot. Hold on.
At me, probably. They have become types of people that off camera, people follow them. Like and a lot of people do this with many stars, but these people, the reason they're stars is because they've been on camera in their lives, and people will follow what's going on in their lives beyond the show because it's like the show goes on.
Yep.
Beyond that. And it gets to a point for an obsession for someone else's life and how they're doing it. And I think a lot of times that obsession can kind of happen whenever there's not enough tension in your life or enough confrontation, or maybe you're so introverted that it's like, I'm not the kind of person that can handle this kind of stuff with other people. But with the Kardashians, I don't know, they give people hope that they too can experience these feelings that everybody else is dealing with.
I think some of it could also be because, like, my sister loves the Kardashians, the Jersey Shore, all of that, just height drama stuff. And, like, Becky, I love you, and I say this out of love. She is one of the most drama-inducing people I've ever met. So I guess in a way she identifies with them. It's almost like watching herself, I guess. That's the only explanation I have. I lean more towards the things that are like Deadliest Catch, The Amazing Race. You know, I like the competition type stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, it's reality, but it's not just drama and shit stirring. We're trying to do a thing that, you know, not everybody can do or has the opportunity to do.
That's it. That type of show, it revolves around the activity. That type of reality show, because the main character of that show is the ocean and the boat. Like, the people on it are at the will of those things, right?
Yeah.
If you take away those, you don't care.
Well, it kind of shows almost like their day-to-day, like Deadliest Catch, for instance, because they get up and they kind of, you know, tell you their plan of how they're going to put out their pots, and they're going to go pick them up at this certain time, and they got these many strings out. And then so the drama in that is, are they going to make their quota? Are they going to make it to the sell point before their haul dies? You know, are they going to be able to make their living doing this? Mm-hmm. Because these guys, they only get like a 2 to 3 month window, and that's all they do for that particular job, because that's their season. So they have long days. They just basically have to get it done in this small amount of time. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't, guess what? They have to wait a whole other year.
Well, that's the kind of thing you only hear about, because if you're not a part of these crews or the family members, you don't know what's going on. I mean, you've heard about how dangerous it can be, or like you said, how if you don't do this right, this chance that you get in this small window, the next year of your life is counting on what you did the year prior. Yeah. And if you have 2 years in a row of it, you're now out of a job probably. Like you can't rely on that profession anymore.
Or you might even lose your boat, you know?
Yeah.
Because some of these captains, they're relying on this season to fund not only their season, but to buy the boat, which is their livelihood.
Yeah.
And they're talking about not only like the season that they're in, but also this season of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. But like the stakes. That's no,
stakes.
I'm not talking about the food ones right now.
I was going to say they're catching fish.
I know, I understand.
They're catching crabs. Crabs are not fish.
You can have crab steak.
Though some of them do lapse over into some fish seasons to make a little extra scratch.
Okay.
But that's not all of them, though.
Yeah. But like the stakes in those shows, that's a part that I can, you know, I could sit through an episode of that and not go, I hate this. I may not want to go to the next episode because I get the idea, but it's not something that I hate, because I'm like, okay, I get it. The stakes are high. The whole situation's dangerous, and it's kind of fun to see that world happen.
Yeah.
But something of people, like rich people that I have nothing in common with, just going about their daily lives, and their main antagonists in their life are their own family members or themselves. That's a great point.
Yeah, it's like the only reason I watch you is you got a nice dumpy. I mean, come on. I mean, let's be real here.
That's why I watch Pawn Stars too.
You know, Chumley, guaranteed. The thing that I know 3 of us go through is that we have females that are not very super prone to getting involved in drama. Like if there is drama, they're most likely going to cut it out and try to avoid that drama ever happening. Mm-hmm. But when they sit down together as a crew, they will watch The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise, and they will just absolutely just like they're eating this drama like oatmeal to like somebody with high cholesterol. Like they're just
and they're just shitting on it the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we should actually, if anybody's into a little drinking game,
I don't like those. I'm not good at drinking.
Can we do it with water?
Yes, if we do it with water, I'm so big. That's exciting.
We'll be
nice ginger
we'll be
ale.
adequately hydrated.
Or
milk.
Squirt.
Or squirt.
Oh yeah, the lime.
It's not lime. It's grapefruit.
Oh
yeah,
I can't have that.
No. Why?
Medicines.
Oh, I thought you might be allergic. I was like, you're not allergic to grapefruit.
No, I've always been allergic to the taste of grapefruit, but now I can't have
You
it.
can't have grapefruit flavored things because medicines.
Well, I'll tell you later.
That's sad. Like, I'll pray for you.
So,
like, lean your head over here. Let me put my
Let him lay
on
hands. Let him lay hands.
Jesus, I pray that you heal this boy from his grapefruit affliction, and he comes to the light. And lean back over here. I'm almost done. And that he can enjoy it with normal human people. In Jesus' name, amen.
And
healed.
Oh my! I am healed. So yeah, they will sit around and they will listen to just every bit of spouting nonsense that these people have on these shows. I want to take the show, and every time somebody says the word vulnerable, you got it.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody cries unnecessarily,
yes,
like there's a reaction that could have just been a normal, it's just I accept this has happened. No, it is an explosion cry,
or them being blindsided by the most obvious possible actions by the person they're interested in.
That would be another phrase
I
too.
can't believe he farts. I was just so blindsided.
You're telling me
oh my God,
that you're dating like 20 other girls at the same
time. You just said you loved me.
You
and
love
kissed
me.
that whore.
I just absolutely could not see myself being with you if you had sex with any of the other contestants on this reality game show.
You know, the most attractive people you've ever seen in your entire life, that their goal is to impress you sexually.
Look, they don't bang on those shows.
No,
They do.
They do.
They would never.
Banging on
they would never.
Banging
because
on The
They
Bachelor-
want to keep it pure.
No, banging on The Bachelor is the same as banging on Fable 3. You're gonna see some side angles of the room. You're gonna hear some words being exchanged,
Some giggles.
a little bit of tee hee ha ha, and then it's all left up to your imagination
God,
how the
what's
baby
that?
happened.
It's The Sims.
Yeah.
Thank you for your cervix.
Dating shows. Dating shows are everything now.
Oh, they're the
at
worst.
least.
I think that is the worst.
Yes.
Because I just can't help but feel like at least young and impressionable people are getting just this really, really weird idea of what dating's like supposed to be like.
Yes, because
Like
it's in front
married
of
at first sight. Like for real? Are we really going there? We are.
We're spending an
Some of them
entire-
actually. There's a few that's actually stayed together, which boggles my mind.
I mean, whatever. I'm not judging
Look,
anybody.
where do I
just
sign
can't
up
help
for
but
this?
feel like it's a bit out
Where do
there.
I sign up for these shows? That's basically the root of the matter.
Now,
I'm sure you can Google it.
There's actually one dating show that I think has a pretty unique premise. Now, the drama does come later on, but the premise of it is actually pretty nice. It's called Love is Blind. And Love is Blind makes you actually sit in the room, talk to somebody. There's a wall between you, and you're getting to communicate in a different way that you don't get to see each other. You have to actually get to know each other before you can, do you like the other person? Yeah, I like the other person. Okay, do you think that this is enough for you to propose to them and then get married?
That's the part. That's the part. Is
Yes.
the proposal part.
Yes.
Because the idea of getting to know someone to the point of eventually going, let's go on a real date and see one another. But no, the thrill is within the proposal part of it all.
Well, how are we
let's-
going to get married?
God, I've never heard of the show, but the premise
No?
just bothers me. Now, I get the idea, okay? We are all more than just our looks. I
Yes.
understand that, and I support that.
Let's hope so.
However, there has to be some amount of physical attraction for it to work.
Well, surprise here. Everyone on the show is attractive. Aren't they?
No.
I've not seen them all. I've only seen all the attractive ones.
Because, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all that goodness. But I'm talking like just normal attractions. Like what would we be attracted to? Is that going to be what's presented to us? And then if that person in front of you doesn't match up with that and you're just left with them, they've been left with that. There's been a guy that was actually on there that was completely and utterly like almost mean to the girl that it's like he had proposed to because she ended up not looking the way that he wanted her to look. Like she had lost a bunch of weight, she had some loose skin, and he was repulsed by it, and he let everybody know.
And then the drama came.
And then here's the drama.
Yes. Which one is it?
No, that's the hot horn.
But the hot horn is also very dramatic.
I mean,
Tiny's hot horn is the most dramatic.
We can backtrack a little bit to when you talked about that dump truck.
Oh, about the dumpy.
I'm only watching because you got a hot dumpy.
Look, Kim, back in the height of her fame, she had a nice dumpy. Now, it's not so much.
It was a very good point of
which, if you're into that,
whenever I said everyone's attractive, because you're right. I mean, to someone on the outside looking in on the show, you're not having to dedicate, your time and relationship to this person. So from the outside looking in, it's just on the surface. Yeah, everybody is seen as attractive probably by a lot of people. But if you're in that situation, once you see them, are they what you imagined? And if they're not what you imagined, I wonder if it's kind of like whenever you read a book that you really love and fall for these characters and just love every one of them and have this image in your head of the way they've acted, the way they've spoken, the way they've been written, and then you see it on screen and it's totally off from what you wanted, even though if they do a good job acting, they still do not look the part and you just can't get with it.
I feel like you're baiting me to say the Dark Tower again.
No, I was just looking your way and making motions with my hand as like a tall thing, like tower.
Oh.
Yeah. I got you.
And you're wearing black, so it's dark, and there's a
I
black
planned
wall
it
behind
since
you.
yesterday, Tiny. I slept in these clothes, just waiting for that joke to try to get you, and it worked.
It did.
But of the dating shows, it is my favorite one.
Now, dating shows used to be a lot different if you go back to the MTV days, because MTV and VH1 had some killer reality television.
Yes.
They had the Next, which was they'd pull up in this big bus. They'd bring these contestants. Basically, it'd be a guy sitting in there, and then some girls would come in, or a girl would be sitting in there, and a bunch of guys would come in. And
they also did guys with guys and girls with girls.
Did they? I just
they
couldn't
did.
remember.
It was one of the first dating show things that I've seen that on.
It was actually progressive, and that was that the early 2000s?
I mean,
Yes.
like
or 90s?
It was
Early
early 2000s.
Early 2000s, gotcha.
So, but then you've basically you can let them stay if you're the contestant. You let them stay as long as you want to. Like for any of the girls that you're like, say you're a guy, for any of the girls, you let them stay as long as you want them to stay. And at any point, you just get the inkling that this isn't going to work out. All you got to do is next. Then it stops immediately where it is, and it starts over with somebody else.
That's so demeaning.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One word goodbye.
Yes.
And then leave, even though that would be awesome just in real life to be able to walk away from situations just by saying next and then they go away.
Yeah.
That's amazing because they didn't have to walk away.
No.
The other person
Yes.
did.
And now all of a sudden you're on a date with someone else.
Yes.
Yes.
Now-
Work for our jobs.
Now let's try this again.
Next.
Round 2. Then room raiders, because of course that's a great idea to get abducted in a van and a hood thrown over your head while somebody goes through your room with a black light to find anywhere you might have spread your Charlie.
You spilled your milk.
Spilled your milk.
Wherever you
Charlie
spilled your
juice.
milk. Yeah.
Charlie spilled his milk.
Finding out where all Charlie's thrown up all over the bedroom, just like let's take a black like this. Like honestly, I live a pretty clean life. We wash our sheets often, but I would be scared right now. I mean, like, what are you supposed to do?
Like these types of shows for MTV, this was the fall of music television.
Yes.
Was the dating shows and the reality TV shows, because that's when MTV became that. I know, sound like a boomer. I remember MTV had music.
I mean, it used to be music television. Now it's mature television.
Oh, really? That's what the M stands for now?
Yeah.
I did not
realize
realize
they've literally
that.
changed the definition.
Wow. So in the fall of it, because even on our little Grapevine board, we've got things like you've mentioned Next, and I mentioned Cribs earlier, and Punked, Road Rules, Real World. Like these were the killers of music television.
Yeah.
Because it became like an addiction kind of thing, right? I mean, which a lot of TV is that way, and it's the way it's promoted, and it wants to be that, so you continue to tune in. But they decided real people in real world situations is more eye-grabbing than music television.
And it's a lot cheaper.
Absolutely.
And
for sure.
And then you also got to get into like the copycat station, which VH1 and MTV were always having these back and forth, like who's a better, network for music entertainment, who's better.
Mm-hmm.
And then once MTV started getting into the reality shows, so did VH1.
Yep.
And VH1 had some doozies. The Surreal Life.
Yes.
That's when you had all these celebrities. They had like 4 seasons of this show.
Who's Mini-Me?
Vern Troyer.
Yeah, dude. He
Why do I
lost
know
his
that?
shit on that show.
Oh, dude, he got so drunk and was peeing on everything.
It was great.
How did I miss that?
Oh my god! You had like Vince Neil from Motley Crue on there, like a whole bunch of different things.
VH1's like took it down to a real dirty level.
And then you had
I enjoyed it.
You had all those where they just it was like Big Brother, or not Big Brother. It was like Road Rules,
Little Sister?
instead of Road Rules, what's the one you always forget about again?
Real World.
Real World.
Real World.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like,
know why.
It's like the Real World, except the surreal life. So you're having all these celebrities going into this house and living together and having to deal with each other. One of them, Brigitte Nielsen, who was Red Sonja in the old movies based off the Conan series, and
Flava
Flav.
Oh God.
Fell in love.
Yes.
Oh God. Not
One of the
Flavor
great Hollywood
Flavor.
romances.
He was Public Enemy,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Oh,
Flava
God.
Flav was Public Enemy. Yeah, because they fell in love, and then they had a show that span off of that. It was
Flavor of Love, baby.
No, that was Brigitte and Flava had their own show spin off of it.
Okay.
And then after that failed, then Flava went looking for love, and you can find love with Flava Flav on Flava of Love. And that had one of the best reality television moments ever. There was this girl named Pumpkin,
Oh my god.
and she spit in the face of this girl named New York.
And New York ended up getting her own show too.
In New York, I Love New York was the spinoff.
Flavor of New York.
Yeah. It was called I Love New York, but
Same thing.
But then,
Dirty pizza.
But then they like, oh my god, they were real ass fighting. Like this was not like I'm scripted to act like I'm fighting. Like Pumpkin spit in her face, saw the look, saw her body language, and I instantly tried to run. She got her hair grabbed from behind. She got like manhandled by New York. It was awesome for reality television moments. It is awesome.
Sir,
Female handled by
thank
New
you.
York.
Thank you.
Sorry. Whew. I'm going to continue because I've got these. They're all on tap here. Okay. You've also got
Bret Michaels.
Bret Michaels, the Rock of
Yeah,
Love.
God.
And I ended up singing karaoke with one of the guys from the spinoff of Rock of Love from the
Which
character,
one? I've seen all this.
Daisy of Love.
They all spin off of one another?
Yes, because Daisy was a contestant on Rock of Love, and she was the most popular contestant that people would gravitate towards. Her guy that she was main focus on in this show, I think his name was Sinister, and she was super in love with him. And I saw them both in a bar in Nashville, and we sang karaoke, and we both sang Crazy Bitch together.
His name was not Sinister.
I know it's something.
That's a really good
That's
name,
his.
though.
That's his code.
So, like, reality TV was the original Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
No, pretty much. Pretty much.
They all got their own shows and their own movies.
Hey, who's that girl with the pink lips that are really, really super filled? Like, who's that? Well, she's from the Bret Michaels show. She got her own show. Did you watch the Bret Michaels show? No, I didn't. Well, he was on the Surreal Life. Did you watch that?
That's where Flava came from.
Which one was Tila Tequila on?
Oh, she
She was
just
on one, and then she had her own.
She was Shot of Love, which shot of love, which Tila Tequila.
Oh,
Yeah.
a shot of tequila.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, that is something.
That's really funny.
And wasn't that one the first to have? She had both
Yeah, she had
female and males
Yep.
coming to try to date her.
she was bisexual.
Breaking boundaries in both the reality TV and the dating ones, because that's whenever you take a famous person, because once they're on these shows and enough people see them, now they're famous people.
Yeah.
That's how they became famous. Is they were real people to begin with, quote unquote, and then they became famous people.
To be fair, they are
they're
real people.
They're all real people.
They do breathe, eat, and
I'll
poop.
say like us.
just like me.
You mean normal folks?
Normies
down here on the normies.
Civvies.
I mean, nobody poops just like me. But you know what I mean.
Nobody has to keep that pie server in there so they can chop it up real good.
It's called a poop knife.
Okay, let's see if you guys know any of these other ones here. There was.
I know that one because I didn't watch any of them.
No, I had something that I was going into, but it pooped. I pooped. My brain.
You can even move away from this. There was like prank shows.
Please.
There's one. I know Punked is the one that I know because Ashton Kutcher doing all his punky fun stuff. And I watched quite a bit of that, which was really funny. But Marcus enlightened me the other day to one that I'd never even heard of.
Did you watch it yet?
No, I didn't watch it.
Gosh, y'all have to watch Joe Schmo show.
It's on my list.
The first season. All the other seasons are not worth it, really. But, okay, so this is when it's in the height of reality television, early 2000s. So they get this idea. Let's do a reality show, but we're going to cast actors in all of the roles, and they make these like stereo. Oh my gosh, I can't speak.
Stereo.
These very stereotypical roles like that you normally see on reality television. All of it to just fool one guy. So they just got a regular guy off the street and set up all this thing. All the games were rigged. All the voting was rigged. The whole game was rigged just to get reactions out of him. And it is freaking hilarious. There's actually one part where he's like handcuffed to this girl and she's like playing this like really pure virgin like character. And her boyfriend comes to visit her, but they had lost a game. So they had to be handcuffed together. And you know in your head, it's just the way that they decided to get him right there in the middle of their argument. He's like, "What is this? You look like a whore." You know, he's just like so mad at the boyfriend. And he's like handcuffed to her the whole time. It doesn't sound that funny, I guess, when I'm talking about it. You just have to see it for yourself.
Even on they had actors. Like, we looked at this because...
and Kristen Wiig's on it.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig was on that show.
Yeah, and like going back and watching it after all these years, it was like really weird to see her. Like in that context.
Yeah, because she's playing a role of a person on this reality show, and you're thinking like, okay, this is like bottom line, like bottom of the barrel kind of folks that would do this. But then she actually had a career.
Oh yeah, she definitely did after that.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know if that's why, but I'll tell you this: it's freaking hilarious. That show is so funny. I think the reason it worked is because they picked the absolute best person you could possibly have picked for a show like that. Like they had written all these storylines and they had rehearsed, and they're like, you know, and then at the dinner table, and then do this and then do that, and then, you know, not knowing how he's going to react, but they can control like what the actors do and how it's all going to play out. But he would go and like start the storylines for them. Like he just walked straight into their trap with the best attitude, and he always made like the right decision too. He was like actually a really good guy, but he was just goofy enough. It's gold. It really is comedy gold.
It just sounds mean.
It is terribly mean.
It was
awfully mean.
It was as mean as he would let it be, though, because he believed it all.
Well, and he did sign up to be on a reality show.
And that second season they tried to do of it, they brought a girl into it, and she had it figured out in 5 minutes.
Immediately. She sniffed it out so quick.
Go figure.
Let's be real. Dudes are stupid. Yeah. We're not going to notice.
Plus, if you're on the set of a reality television show and things are getting a little weird, I mean, it kind of, you know, you kind of give it a little bit of forgiveness.
Ladies are generally more intuitive than us.
But no, it was actually horrifically mean, for sure. I mean, it had to have done a number on that guy, but that doesn't make it not hilarious.
Did they have one do the fall in love bit with him?
No.
Okay, that would have been really,
they had a best friend.
Really upped up.
They did have the best friend.
At least they didn't do that.
And so, yeah, this one guy was playing the buddy. Right. And there actually was one point where he was feeling this one girl, and she like said something, and they like brought her into the trailer and were like, "We've got to dispel this quickly. Like you can't say that." And she's like, "Yeah, I know, I messed up. But there's several times where they almost kind of lost the script and gave it away, but he swallowed it hook, line, and sinker, man. I mean, they got him. They really did. They got him.
Which the best friend thing, like because a guy was posing it as his
buddy.
They connected.
They did.
And that was the part when you talked to me before about it that he was the most upset about in the end, because he thought he had made a real life friend.
A real friend,
that
yes.
moving on from this show, they were going to actually be able to enjoy one another's, existence.
Right.
But they're like,
Well,
no, I'm
they
an
had
actor.
they had even talked before the cameras even started rolling. They were they like introduced him to him before the show was even filming, when they were still doing screen tests.
plant
and
the
stuff.
seed of that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then like he's like, "Are you an actor?" And he freaks out when he finds out that even he's an actor. And then later on, he finds out he was actually part writer of the show as well.
So
Then it got, yeah, dude. I mean,
man.
listen, it's a terrible, terrible experiment. But I didn't do it. I just watch it, Just watch it. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, but you also will feel bad for
Did
for
you even
him.
love me at all? Like, even a little?
But man, he remains a good sport throughout the whole thing. I can't imagine what he went through in his private life, but he remained a good sport on the camera.
If they got an asshole to play the guy, then I'm all in for it because yes, you just got him. Like, but knowing it's such a nice guy just hurts, even though he made the show.
Well, about to say, and it makes it a little
So
bit
much
more
better.
hilarious
Yeah.
sometimes. He's so honest, and he like tells you everything he's thinking. I don't know. I can't speak highly enough of it. To me, it's probably the greatest reality show ever.
So
made.
that's the height. That's the height of reality TV.
I had
for
to
you.
say that. I can just shut up now. Y'all got the rest of the show.
Dude,
Bye, Marcus. Have a good ride home.
There were other shows too. And my previous thing that I was going to get into before my brain farted was weight loss shows. You had The Biggest Loser.
God.
That was a humongous thing because they went into they went
Because they're hefty. Rude.
Yeah, The Biggest Loser. It had the most viewings of anything. They had a lot of seasons of it. They had it with Biggest Loser Family, Biggest Loser Couples. The Biggest Loser Family was also kind of trippy because you got to see what bad genetics will do to somebody's body along with some really bad eating habits. So yeah, they go through all this extreme transformation, and then they had celebrity versions like Celebrity Weight Loss.
I don't like the family one. I
Yeah.
don't. That's a child.
Yeah.
You shouldn't make a child feel bad because they're hefty.
like help them, but don't put
Yeah,
them
help
on
them,
camera.
but don't be
for
like,
it.
oh,
Like,
we're going to put you on the show because you're a fat.
Well,
But
Well, it's and putting the cameras on them. It's like a shame tactic. Like
Yeah.
they can have no shaming in it whatsoever.
yeah,
But putting them on camera, saying like everyone in the world can watch you and be who
exactly.
you are.
And they're
and
all going to
everything
judge
else,
exactly
so,
what
right.
you're doing and what you're not doing and what you're
Right.
eating. For an adult, you're an adult. You can make your own decisions. Don't drag your child into that.
Yeah, I
That's
like the
gross.
idea of helping them, but turn off the
Yeah.
cameras. Just do it for the good of the people,
Yeah.
as opposed to the ratings.
Yeah, the celebrity weight loss one was pretty funny too. I mean, I can't remember anything remarkable happening on it, but it was like watching The Biggest Loser with famous people that were on there.
Right.
I mean, the premise of it alone sells it.
Well, that's a weird thing that happens with reality shows is they start off with normies, and then there's a popularity of the show, and then they're like, let's switch the normies with famous people. And now you can watch, the thing that was appealing about it before, which was, whoa, these are people like me. Now they're not anymore. So, and now, and then sometimes it's even famous actors. So it's like,
Yep.
it's a weird trend to take the one thing that makes it what it is and pretty much turn it into something totally different, even though it still falls under reality TV.
Which is
Like
different.
Gary Busey on Wife Swap.
Oh my
Oh, that's
god.
so
He
good.
was.
Oh.
Oh, Bible Man was on there too, wasn't he?
The
no,
superhero?
No, never mind. No, he was on Celebrity Weight Loss. Never mind. The guy that played
Really?
Bible Man. Yeah.
Isn't he a dick? too?
absolutely violent, mean.
So always talked about. So far,
Yeah, Daddy.
we've talked about what dating and cooking and pranking. The ones that I really like are the art-based ones.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
and the one that you may not even think that I would love is America's Next Top Model. I loved that show.
How was that art?
I love photography.
Be hot and walk in a line.
Photography. Not the cat.
The
not the
contestants have
catwalk.
nothing to
Not the
do
catwalk.
with
But it's
it.
not Be America's
no.
Next Top Photographer.
Yeah,
but that's the part I liked.
It's America's Next Top unhealthy, skinny, hot chick.
The parts I liked because they were part of art. They had to pose the way that they needed to for the cameras to capture the moment that they were looking for. And some people were so good at it, and a lot of the people were good people. But then, of course, they had the ones that were there for I'm going to love the drama of this, but. I just love the artistic nature of it. And it was one that it captivated me. And it's one of those that I would think I would lump in with things like Kardashians, like I don't care.
Yeah.
But I ended up caring and I liked it a lot. And a lot of things can fall under the art category of that.
Just like X to the Z exhibit with Pimp My Ride.
Just like Pimp My Ride. It's art.
It's art that you can drive
These
sometimes.
blank canvases of shitty vehicles. It was worse. It was like if someone handed you a canvas that was ripped and torn and stained.
Yeah.
And you turned it into, on the front side, a beautiful looking image.
Tiger.
But on the back side, there's still mold and rust and probably rat feces hidden somewhere.
It's like the front of the canvas is beautiful, but they didn't bother to clean off the 14 spider sacks on the back of it. And now everything's hatching, and so the interior, like the working motor function of it, totally always compromised. They never fixed that. We actually talked about that. God, so long ago. It's been years since we talked about that on the podcast.
7.
But you'd have spinning rims on everything too.
Yes.
I don't know if
and aquariums in vehicles. Aquariums alone are hard to keep up with.
They put spinners on there because the wheels wouldn't spin any other way. That was the only rotation those wheels would get.
And oftentimes after the cameras would stop rolling, they'd go in and they'd strip out everything from the vehicle that looked awesome and leave it in barely functioning mode. And that person was contractually obligated to not sell the vehicle. And all. We remember talking about that. It was crazy. I mean, we've also talked about Forged in Fire, which was, I consider that.
That is art?
That is an art competition show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll give that one that.
Because blacksmithing is definitely an art, and these people are masters of that art. And I mean, it's an awesome show to watch, especially for Blade fans. Not just the movie, but also the tool.
Blown Away is
Yes,
one that's
that
more,
one was
it's a
awesome.
little bit more recent, I think, than even Forged in Fire. And it's all glass blowing, and it is incredible. And I think I latched on a little bit more to it than Forged in Fire, even though I did love it too, because I took a glass blowing class in college. Like I got to learn how hard it is to do that. And it's so hard. And they're having to work with other people that aren't like even stars of the show. They're just their assistants that they bring out from their home forges and stuff. But it's up to you and this other person to be able to make these masterpieces out of glass, and it's so fragile. And the actual shattering of things for someone to be defeated, or one shatters and they're able to just bust out another one.
Yep.
And end up winning. And it's so tense, and it's even more tense whenever you understand what's going on. Like in the cooking shows, if you've been a chef and you understand, or if you're even a waiter at a restaurant, whenever you're watching what's happening in these kitchens, it's even more stressful for you because you understand what's at stake. Like whenever you're looking at everything, steak again, this time I am talking about the food.
Yeah.
But that was something with Blown Away that I realized that makes me enjoy something even more, is if I have some kind of, already a connection to it outside of that, which a lot of these I really don't. But one that I don't even know if they've made a third season or not, but Lego Masters. Did any of you guys watch Lego Masters?
With Will Arnett?
I've watched one American-based episode.
Yes. I think are they all American-based?
I have no idea. I just
are.
wanted to say it that way.
That's funny. But that was a show to where they took these people really good at making Lego creations and pit them against one another to become a Lego master. And they're like certain things they made in it, like on the line was being able to have it turn into an actual thing that's sold for Lego, like an actual Lego set, or being at Legoland. Like one of them was, I believe, on display at Legoland. And it's just so cool to be somebody that just likes like dicking around with Legos, and you're so good at it that all of a sudden you're on TV and you're making amusement parks with all of these like different stipulations and rules and things.
Question.
Answer.
So if you was on this Lego Master show,
Yes.
okay, and let's say they did like a Tournament of Champions style one,
Okay.
and you won, would you be considered a master mason?
It is
man.
bricks, Tiny.
It is bricks.
Does masonry have to involve mortar?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I've never been in the Masons.
Actually, no, that would only be if they've won 2, then they would be a fellow craft. Entered apprentice, fellow.
At what point do you enter in the Illuminati portion?
It's the entered apprentice, fellow craft, and the master mason. Master mason's the 3rd level, so they'd have to win 3. Then they could be
that'd be
master
hard.
masons.
Ooh, that'd
so
be very
after
hard.
that, is it Illuminati?
No, it just depends on who you know.
You know he can't tell you. He can't tell you.
Yeah, I know.
It's a secret.
It's the Illuminati.
It don't stop me from asking.
Not the
He likes those
Illuminati.
friends better than he likes these friends. Okay, Johnny.
I get it.
You mentioned Will Arnett.
Yes.
That's something we haven't even talked about in any of this, really, is the hosts of these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they make it because in Nailed It, which is another cooking show,
Nicole
Byer is hilarious, and she makes that show so much better because it's a cooking show where you get to watch people that are terrible at baking, and they're on the show baking in front of a camera and competing against other people. And sometimes they make really surprising choices that end up being good.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's awful because they're presented with something in one of the rounds. I think it's the last round or something. They're presented with something that's been made by a professional, like either chocolatier, which is also, they have a chocolatier on the show.
Yeah.
Is his name Pierre? Jacques Pierre?
No, is it Jacques? I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Sounds
probably,
right.
It's probably stereotypical for me to just go the French guy on the show. His name's Pierre, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it is or not. But anyway, he's a master like chocolatier, whatever you want to call him. And so he's even made things that these contestants have to duplicate.
Yeah, and he talks about how he put 7 hours of work into this.
They've got
kind of
30
thing.
minutes.
They've got 30 minutes. This is not going to look good.
Yes.
As long as it can be close to it, it'll be fine.
That was French.
Jacques is Russian.
That is the best that it can be.
But Nicole Byer and Jacques is also great on there because he's laughing his ass off watching these people just do the worst mistakes possible of things that he's a master of. And a lot of these shows, some of the judges, that's another thing I don't like about these shows is that the judges.
Well, some judges can be really good.
Some can, but others.
But there's some like some of them they're such a jerk that's what you love about them. Because you can only sugarcoat so much. I mean, let's be realistic here.
Right.
But there's some you just can't stand. Like, one of my favorite cooking shows was Chopped.
Yes.
You
Chopped
know,
was great.
they get a basket of mystery ingredients that really don't go together. And now you, in a time limit, have to make a good dish.
Yeah.
They've got a new one like that now, too. It's a competition
Some of the
reality
judges.
show that's called, oh, man, it's where you have to actually bid on it. We've watched it. You have to bid on the cooking and cook at all costs is what it's called. And you have to make bids on certain packages of food that are mystery. You can't see them until you bid on them. And you can either get the budget, the mystery, or the spend. And if you're spending, the spend is the one that costs you the most money. I've seen one of those things go for $10,000 on there because they've got a bank they pull off of, and whatever money from that bank that they don't spend, and if they win the competition, they get to keep the money in the bank. So you can win tens of thousands of dollars if you just spend your money wisely. Some people get on there and they're like, I don't care how much money I have to spend. I just want to win. And there's one particular lady that does it, and that's why she sounds like that.
Yeah, they like that's a shtick that they have for the cooking show because there's so many of them, and there will be so many of them to come that they've got to start coming up with these weird things to make about the show to make it entertaining because they're like the cooking isn't enough, but that's not true because look at the British Bake Off, the Great British Bake Off.
Absolutely,
that show. The only shtick about it is them having them to make things that they maybe have never made before. They don't know if they've never made them before, but they present them with this is what you need to make, or the idea of it, and then a list of the ingredients, and now they just have to make the thing.
And sometimes they give you an actual recipe and a way to cook it, and sometimes they're just like, make this.
Yeah.
And Gordon Ramsay has his 7,000th TV show now where there's 3 different kitchens. Like the one on the top level is like this state-of-the-art, like fancy kitchen. The middle one's just like your run-of-the-mill kitchen, and the bottom one's like somebody's basement. And so it's like they've got like Tupperware and tinfoil down there.
So it's
you know?
what we would be used to.
Cooking Japanese.
Don't you talk bad about my boy Gordon.
I'm not. I'm just saying he has a lot of
Okay.
TV shows.
Because you got
He does.
You got top
He
layer
deserves them.
cooking Japanese Wagyu. You've got middle layer cooking the Angus steaks from Walmart, and you've got the bottom layer cooking meth.
Yeah, well, but the ingredients don't necessarily like. I think the top kitchen. There's like an elevator that goes from the top kitchen to the next one to the next one, so it's all dependent on who above you picks what.
So it's like the platform, that German movie meets a cooking reality show.
Basically, yeah.
So whatever food is left, that's what you get at the bottom.
Pretty much. But then people at the bottom end up winning sometimes. So it's like not only did they not have the same tools and ingredients, but their dish was just still better.
Cheering for them, right?
Right?
I mean, it's the
well, and then,
the
and then they
underdogs.
switch. Like sometimes it's luck of the draw, like what kitchen you're going to be
And
in.
it turns out they've got secret training, like the ones who have to end up cooking in the basement actually served a stint at Waffle House, so that you get into
They
this
can do it better
grimy
than
work
anybody.
environment. And they're like, I'm coming home.
one that I recently saw. It's actually on Netflix. I think it's fairly new. Drink Master, I think is what it's called. I mean,
Yeah.
not a very original title, but at the same time, like I don't know, I've never heard of a craft cocktail, and some of that stuff looks pretty interesting. It looks like.
I love the essence extractings. Like they,
Well, yeah, and they have the little aromatics that they spray over the top. Like it's not even about the flavor. That you're just supposed to smell that while you're drinking this.
That's weird.
It is, but I could totally see how it would work. Though.
they make it taste like make drinks that taste like you're having an entire slice of pie. Like make drinks.
That's
I
the
like
good
pie.
stuff.
Have drinks
Yeah.
that like literally
What kind of
change
pie are we talking?
while you drink them. They like are changing into another drink and stuff.
They've got to use the agar-agar to be able to actually change stuff into like the encapsulated like boba beads and stuff. So it's crazy. I love it.
It really is nuts.
There was one contestant on there that used some ingredient that it will kill you if you have too much of it.
Dry ice.
Was it
Yeah.
dry ice that he used
Yeah.
in it? And he expected the judges to drink the drink. And they were like, "Is there dry ice in this drink?" He was like, "Yes, there is a small amount in there." And they let him know, this thing can kill you, right?
Well,
and he was
that's
like,
if
"Yeah,
you
I'm just-"
actually drank the dry ice piece.
right." They have it.
You have to wait for it to dissipate.
It was just in the glass.
But
Yeah.
he was telling him, he's like, I've anchored it to the bottom. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to get in your mouth.
You expect me to trust you, bro?
Exactly.
I just met you.
Right.
Because they were actually very concerned because they said
Yeah.
if a flake of this was to touch our skin, we would be poisoned. But no. There's a little section of reality TV that we skipped over because it's loosely reality TV.
What is that?
And not Deadliest Catch. I ain't built for that.
Because if you're asking me what I would love to do,
Yeah.
what I would love to be on, wrestling.
Ooh, that's a good point. Wrestling, because
I mean, yeah.
They're portraying these people as if they're real people. Of course, you're scripted to a point. They're scripted upon actions. They're talking to each other in the ring. They're athletic upon command. Their yes and comedy is athletic performance and brutality. Like it's insane what they have to go through, but it's all improv what they're doing in there, and it's crazy because as a child. As a kid, like I was hook, line, and sinker as to like these are real people.
Mm-hmm.
They're really this way. This is who they are. And vampires were real for a short amount of time. You got the Brood, with Gangrel and Edge and Christian, and they were all vampires. And I'm like, oh my god, they're vampires. Kane coming out, and all of a sudden fire shooting from the the railing and stuff. What's it called? The turnbuckles.
Turnbuckle.
So shooting from the posts and stuff of the turnbuckles. I'm like, oh my god, it's this demon from hell. My name is Kane. I'm the Undertaker's brother.
I have to say, I don't think wrestling's reality TV.
no, it's in perception.
Hold on.
Reality has
I
perception.
literally Googled this.
What?
Because I've always said professional wrestling is like a soap opera.
It's a sports soap opera.
And this says, according to
Yes.
Cubedy Robert is a very reliable source.
Is
it
it?
says that professional wrestling, such as WWE, owned by Vince McMahon, contains many elements of soap operas.
Yeah. Well, so do all the reality TV shows that follow these people.
It is regarded as a man's soap opera. That's according to Reddit.
But there are actual reality television shows that have spun off of what I'm loosely calling a reality show, like Total Divas, where you had like the divas from the WWE that actually had their own show where they were following all of them doing their Kardashian style documentary thing, and then they also had there was one that they had that was following the guys and stuff too. I can't remember what it was called.
The not divas.
Thems.
The jocks. The chads.
The Chad.
The chads.
Stone Cold had a reality competition show.
Broken Skull Ranch.
And that one
It's delicious with French fries.
With
That's literally the name of his ranch, though.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like where he lives.
Yes. And he holds it there
He
on
had,
the
he had a
ranch.
show.
Yes,
about
yeah.
that?
Tiny, you've not seen.
No, I don't
You
have
must
TV.
what you must see.
I like.
Yeah,
I
You
like
must
Stone
sail the
Cold.
open seas. Throw up the Jolly Roger.
And Broken Skull's become everything. Like that's his beer. That's it was his show. That's his Cold Steel Knife edition that he has.
Yeah.
That's
That's not the name of his podcast.
what's his podcast name?
The Steve Austin Show.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I almost
Steve.
looked it up, but I'm like,
Boring.
wait, that's what it is. It's in my subs.
He's one of those to where the host makes the entire show because it is just an outside competition of who can do the strong things for a long amount of time. But his commentary is so ridiculous, and it's like him as a wrestler improvising these things.
That's probably the whole shtick
the whole
to the
thing,
show.
exactly. It is,
thing
I love that
Well,
part.
his podcast is him being genuine.
That's nice.
Well, because
Which is cool.
he's got a
Just
lot of
throwing that out
memories,
there.
and he's got a lot of people that have been on his podcast that have shared these memories and stuff with him. I like seeing that. He's also one of the greatest heels in wrestling of all time, to the point
He
to
was a
where
healer.
like he was a bad guy,
He healed my
but
soul.
everybody loved him because like he's just there to wreak havoc and kick some ass.
Yeah.
Like it's a Texas-sized mud stomping in your ass, not a handshake and a how you doing. Him and God. At one point, they even destroyed a grocery store. They destroyed a grocery store. Booker T was just in the grocery store shopping around, and he saw a guy that looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So he's like, "Hey," and it's not Stone Cold, but turns out Stone Cold's actually in the store. They're busting milk cartons over each other's head. They're throwing each other through the produce aisle. It was, God, if that couldn't be reality TV, I don't know what would be reality
Do you remember
TV,
when
honestly.
he got the monster truck?
And
when
he
he
drove
and The Rock
it?
had the feud.
Yes.
And he drove over The Rock's car.
Yes.
And then like a week later, Rock comes back with his own monster truck.
Yep.
So we can all probably agree wrestling isn't reality TV technically, right? To a
Right.
kid that thinks it's real, sure,
Yeah.
in their eyes it is,
Oh,
but
yeah.
overall it's not. But I think we can agree.
It's still real to me, damn it.
But I think we can all agree that all of these reality shows would be better if wrestling was a part of it. To where it's all wrestling.
Yep.
Just throw them all in the ring and have them do the things they need to do for the show, but there's also wrestling involved.
Well, don't they actually have that? Didn't they have
There was like a UFC show, yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
did have all that.
Oh, my God.
They had the MMA, so you had all these MMA men.
Surely,
and
but
then
they've
there
had a lot
would be
of
the
those.
drama.
But would you ever see Snooki do an elbow drop from the top of the steel cage
Look,
On George Ramsey?
on
Or George
on-
Ramsey.
on Gordon Ramsay?
George is his brother.
I would pay tens of dollars to see Snatchy get in the ring with Kimbo Slice.
Oh my! Kimbo's dead.
If he was still
The
alive,
ghost of
He would
I
pay
know.
$20 then.
Look, even the
Because
ghost of Kimbo could still take that woman.
But I'm just, oh my God! I got wrestling
Look,
on the brain
Kimbo,
now. By God!
Look, Kimbo had one nice beard. Can you hit the thing? Can you hit the hot horn, please? Thank you.
So, R.I.P. Kimbo Slice. R.I.P. this episode.
Aw.
I know, right? Thank you all for joining us for the reality of what it is that we sit in this room and talk about. You can do that continuously on Spotify, iTunes, Good Pods, CastBox, and blah, blah, blah. Wherever you want to go to find it, there are 5 stars. Click 5 stars and then tell us why you love us, why you click the 5 stars. You can also click the 5 stars and explain why you can't stand thinking about us and the idea of anything that we do. Just click 5 stars. That's the smallest bit I can ask for. And then you can buy clothing on Redbubble. Go on Redbubble, type in Nerd It Through the Grapevine, or click the link in the description, and you can go find all kinds of neat stuff. I just ordered things from there, and they're nice. They're good.
Yeah. I got this nifty little shirt right here off of the Redbubble. It's
That's a
pretty
nice shirt.
It is nice. It's a baseball tee with the
Yeah.
podcast on there. I would like for you, as listeners, to get on our social media. It's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Let me know what I've talked horribly about this episode. Tell me if I've misconstrued some information about your favorite reality television show and I need to fix it, because I'll talk about it later. I can recant. It's okay. You can teach me better. You just have to message me. Look us up on those at Nerd Grapevine, or get on Patreon. Donate a little bit of money to the cause. Get a shiny holographic Nerd It Through the Grapevine sticker and be able to unlock future content that we haven't released yet. You can get on Patreon, look up Nerd Grapevine. That's how you can find us there. Just whatever you do, do not talk about Snooki dropping the elbow off the top of the steel cage onto Gordon Ramsay and somebody in the back that it's probably, he sounded like he had a stroke or something. By God, somebody better call his family, because that'll cause you to have a little bit of.
Can you imagine if they had a dating reality type show based in the small town that we're from?
Oh, no,
There would
Tiny.
be like one set of teeth amongst all 30 of them.
No.
just how backwood. Like, we're from the South, y'all. I mean, y'all can probably figure that out at this
It'd
point.
get views.
It would get so many views, but they'd all be related. That would be so much Discord. So you can find a link to Discord in our description. We have memes on there. We are doing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. The window for signing up for that particular event has unfortunately closed, but there shall be some role-playing game after that. Maybe Cockatoo, which is what I call of Cthulhu, or Starfinder. Who knows? So find us on there. Maybe you can help us decide which one we're going to do next. Maybe it'll be Vampire the Masquerade. Who knows?
Put it to the polls.
We'll put it to the polls. We'll have a happy, slappy fun time. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, irrevocably circumcised.
And now, Tiny, it's your turn. How are you going to get those grapes in your butthole?
I'm going to find them on YouTube and then shove them in my ass.
You're gonna find the grapes on YouTube. You're gonna turn the volume way, way up till your phone's kind of moving and wiggling a little bit, and then you're
down
gonna
the back of your pants.
even better.
How?
I found it's bad.
Okay.
But it was a fidget spinner butt plug, so I'm gonna put them on that and then put that in my butt.